Hey guys, so before we begin tonight's podcast, we do want to address the passing of Rocky Johnson, of course, WWE legend and father of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
And in addition, we would like to address and acknowledge the life and passing of local wrestling hero Pampero Firpo. Our sincerest condolences are spread to the families of both of them and to fans of professional wrestling across the world who were affected by these losses. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick Cavalli, and we would like to welcome you to the Wrevolution podcast. We are talking tonight about the Wednesday Night Wars, our hottest video of the year,
Baby, they're
number
back.
2. We are so excited to get into this. We've been hanging out all day and all night now, and then all
after 2
into the
o'clock.
morning on Thursday. But we are here. We are at your will, and we are going to kick things off the same way we did watching things with NXT.
So I thought it was really cool right out the gate. NXT and AEW both began their shows, kind of how we started our podcast tonight, with a tribute to Rocky Johnson in the beginning, which I thought that was very classy on both the parts of WWE brass and AEW officials to include that at the very beginning.
Of course, and then just to mention this now, because I'll probably forget it later, AEW in addition did mention the additional wrestling losses we had, including Pampero Firpo, and a couple of other losses that we've had within the week.
Yes, so NXT began with a promo from Keith Lee, who was, if you didn't know, the 2019 Breakout Star of the Year. He is, without a doubt, one of my favorite wrestlers today going forward. He is amazing. If you haven't been watching a lot of NXT, or if you missed Survivor Series, please check this guy out.
Absolutely.
He is amazing. So he comes out to the ring and he cuts a promo on Undisputed Era, more specifically Roderick Strong, talking about the North American Championship, talking about how Undisputed Era, they've been riding high, but they've kind of, started reaching their peak.
Their
They've
limit.
reached their limits. However,
But I am limitless.
yes, this is not a problem for this man, and the crowd is just eating it
Absolutely.
up. They are basking in his glory, one would say. I mean,
Oh, bask in his glory. Oh, bask in his glory.
he is so over with the NXT universe. I love to see it. Of course, Adam Cole, who apparently speaks for everyone.
Well, yeah,
in the
he
Undisputed
speaks for
Era.
all of them.
Yeah, he comes out. He's just like, "Shut up, Keith Lee! Like, you're stupid." Blah blah blah. And they just immediately jump him in the ring, start beating him down. And Keith Lee actually holds his own pretty well for a
Well,
couple
it's Keith
minutes
Lee.
there. Yeah, he's massive. But then, of course, obviously the numbers game gets the better of him. They
Wrap
beat
a
him down.
chair around his ankle.
Yeah, and then I believe it was Roderick Strong from the second or top rope actually dove down onto
Stomped
the chair.
on top of the chair.
Yeah, and Keith Lee goes down with we were told was a pretty bad injury later on in the night. But
So Tommaso Ciampa runs down to the ring, takes out all 4 members of the Undisputed Era, and they quickly flee the ring. But as Adam Cole is getting out of the ring, there's kind of like a little bit of a stare down between Ciampa and Cole.
you're seeing Keith Lee, he's struggling to stand up. He's on one knee, can't even stand, as they're doing the heel versus face stare down as the camera's kind of fading out. So everyone's concerned. Marnell's talking about, is Keith Lee going to be able to compete next week? Because this Undisputed Era is obviously intention to injure Keith Lee before the championship match. So they said we'd get updates later on in the night.
And we do.
Yes.
So this is, of course, followed by a medical update of sorts in and of itself. It's Tegan Knox who's arriving at Full Sail. Oh, Tegan. Oh, I love you so much. She is excited to finally get back. She's embraced by, I believe, Candice LeRae.
Yes.
And then she says one of the things she's looking forward to most is going face-to-face with Dakota Kai, which, of course, I am absolutely dying to see. Tegan Knox get her hands on Dakota Kai.
That's going to be great. I can't wait to see that. But now we get the first match in this week's edition of the
Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic.
And it's the Broserweights. Thank you, Mar Ronaldo, for that name.
Yeah, that one's got to stick. So Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne.
Yeah, they come down to the ring. By the way, their entrance, just personal reasons, just looked really freaking cool. And then, of course, they're facing off against Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster.
So for those of you who do not watch NXT UK, which would probably make up a decent portion of our viewer base, I would assume, if I'm wrong, comments are down there. Please interact with us, someone. And the NXT UK tag team division has always been rather strong, and these are the inaugural NXT UK tag team champions, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. These guys are fantastic.
Yeah, so this was not only, obviously obviously Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne are well established within the NXT universe, so obviously they're already super high up, but this was a great showcase for the NXT UK brand in Mark Andrews and Flash, because they were amazing. Like, obviously that Riddle and Dunn are amazing performers. They're just, we're talking about the top of NXT. They're right there. But what these guys were doing in the ring tonight, it was hard hitting, it was fast, it was high octane, it was a really good match. I don't want to give any spoilers, but this might even be my match of the night.
It's
that good.
It's that style of tag team action that makes me excited about tag team wrestling. It's the reason that I fell in love with AEW's tag division, and it's the reason that I'm slowly falling back in love with NXT's tag division. The hard-hitting, fast style of tag where teamwork is extremely important, and you see that Webster and Andrews take the advantage multiple times based on their teamwork, even though Dunn and Riddle are top-tier talent.
Yeah, you would argue they've got the talent advantage, but then
I don't even know if there's an argument. That's by far they have a talent advantage.
Yeah, but then Andrews and Flash have the experience advantage, and while for the most part it kind of seemed like maybe they were going to go in that direction, it would of course be the Broserweights picking up the win with a brutal finish. It was like some kind of weird combination.
Yeah, it was the bitter end into a Final Flash
knee strike, which, ow.
Yeah, that's a no-go for me.
Yeah. Who was it that took that spot? Was that Andrews?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, props to you for taking that, because ow. So then, of course, we are taken backstage as Keith Lee is being looked at by the trainers. We are told that they're going to continue to give us updates, which, by the way, they don't. So they just kind of lied to us there. That's actually the only update we get on Keith Lee.
Well, Keith Lee gives us his own little update. Keith Lee gives us
his own update later on in the night. And then we get a Ciampa promo. Yes, Daddy's home, as the crowd was chanting ferociously.
Daddy's home, but you think Daddy would have learned, after watching what happened to Keith Lee, not to call out the Undisputed Era?
Yeah, he talks about how the Undisputed Era has a hit list, but he's got a hit list of his own, and he wants his baby back. He's coming for the title.
I'm coming for Goldie.
Yeah, and not 5 minutes into this promo, guess who walks right back out? It's the Undisputed Era, and they do exactly to Ciampa what they did to Keith Lee, as if anyone didn't see that coming.
Until Johnny Wrestling.
Johnny Gargano comes and saves his former tag team partner, Tommaso Ciampa, and you have the crowd chanting it. Ronaldo mentions it. It's a potential reunion of DIY. It just seems like these two can't stay away from each other, right? Every time there's an angle featuring Ciampa or Gargano, sooner or later,
the other one's lumped in.
The other one's going to get involved. That's just how it is. These two are like the heart and soul of NXT.
But they're not the only people. Ronaldo and the audience are not the only people.
Yes.
to mention this, we get a tweet sent out by Trent7 saying that Mustache Mountain should in fact take on DIY at Worlds Collide if teams are getting back together.
Spoilers, I am so freaking excited for Worlds Collide. Like, you think I'm hyped now. Oh my god, I'm gonna be jumping out of my seat.
You know what's gonna be really exciting? Doing 2 pay-per-view videos that weekend.
Yay!
You know, you have fun with the editing, bud. I'm gonna just, spit my thing and go home. You can, the usual. Anyways, that's followed by the second match that we get in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Alex Shelley and Kushida take on the Grizzled Young Vets.
That, of course, would be James Drake and Zach Gibson.
Which, again, NXT UK Tag Team Division.
Yes. Really on showcase tonight.
Yes, and of the people in said division, I'm not a huge fan.
Neither am I. I mean, obviously they showed tonight. They are still, fantastic talents, but just not exactly my flavor,
Totally understandable.
Definitely.
We've been watching Drake for a little while now. Gibson not so much, but...
And if you watch New Japan, you know Kushida. You can say the same thing for Alex Shelley, but also for me personally, I knew Alex Shelley from
Motor
TNA
City
with
Machine
the
Guns.
Motor City Machine Guns, and God, I cannot... There's rumors that Chris Sabin is potentially signing with NXT. I need a Motor City Machine Guns reunion on NXT. That would just... that would make my day. But yes, so... You have Marinello talking about the history of the Kushida and Shelley tag team in New Japan, how they're a very experienced tag team. So how ironic that the storytelling for this match is actually the opposite of the first match, because you actually see the Grizzled Young Vets get the best of Shelley and Kushida, and it actually is the Grizzled Young Vets, who actually end up getting the win.
Now, they mentioned one thing during the match that I found really cool, and I really enjoyed this part, was the quick and disorienting moves from Shelley and Kushida. They were causing their opponents to almost be confused as to where things were coming from. I told you it looked like the super move for the Flash in Injustice 2, just getting hit from all different directions. It was a really fantastic showing.
Yeah, that was, again, the tag team division in NXT is looking really good. Probably one of my second favorite matches of the night, by far. And now we get after the match, we get Alex Shelley and Kushida. They go for, the standard babyface handshake, good match, good fight. And the Young Vets just go, nah, I'm not.
We didn't fly all this way to shake hands.
Yeah, they get out the ring, they grab a mic, and they cut a promo right then and there on Shelley and Kushida. Yeah, we didn't fly all this way out to shake your hand. You're not gonna, get big off of our success, like take our moment away from us.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, nice little, I like, trying to build them up, but, it's the classic heel thing, like, nah, I'm not shaking your hand, so... I thought that was kind of cool, but we then get Robert Stone explaining that he is, and this
client.
This makes no freaking sense. So his client Chelsea Green, I want to make sure I get this right because this is just the stupidest thing. He pulls her out of the women's battle royale, which. There's a women's battle royale happening at the end of the night for the number one contendership for the NXT Women's Championship, and he pulls her out of it because he doesn't want any of the other women to kind of steal her spotlight, or he doesn't want her to
I think this was a really,
spotlight.
really good way to say, yeah, she wasn't ready to go.
Yeah, like, it just... the whole idea is, I don't want her sharing the spotlight with these other women. They're going to steal her shine or whatever. But
Mercedes Martinez was ready to go, and she just signed with WWE, like a week ago?
The thing that just doesn't make sense to me, because this isn't like a random battle. This is for the number one contendership for a championship, and you're supposed to be the manager?
Yeah.
This is your client?
No, she's not going to win.
How dumb are you? Like,
As a manager, I know she's not going to win. I'm not going to let anybody steal her spotlight by, I don't know, throwing her out of the ring and making her look like an idiot.
Yeah, that's got to be the reason. And then, obviously, the real reason is probably that she's
not ready to go.
And then they had, as we find out later, other talent that they didn't inform us of.
That was ready to go.
That made surprise appearances in the Royale. If the Women's Royal Rumble is anything like the Women's Battle Royale we see later on tonight, I'm looking forward to it. If they bring out some of the things they brought out, then it'll be good.
I too, much like Paul Heyman, spit spoilers, spit truth. It won't be. Because it's not booked by the NXT people.
That is fair. Yes, that is fair. So we get the next match, which this could actually, again, don't want to give away spoilers, but could also be a match of the night candidate for me. And
this was one of my favorite matches that I've seen in a while.
Tyler Breeze, Prince Pretty versus Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Lio Rush, the former Cruiserweight champion, with Angel Garza on commentary.
Angel, dude, you were killing it on the mic. I'm mad props. Even though, I didn't understand a lot of it because I don't speak Spanish, but
he was definitely doing good at first, but I did kind of feel like as the match went on, he was kind of, out of his element. And
well, I think as the match went on, he just didn't care.
I still think he didn't think he knew what to say.
That's fair.
Because he just, like, Morrow, at one point asked him a question. He just, completely ignored it and rambled on about nothing. But, yeah, so this match was fantastic.
Well, of course, the winner goes on to Worlds Collide.
Yes.
As a part of the Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
It's funny if you ask Angel Garza about what he thinks in the match. He was like, yeah, obviously one opponent isn't enough. I need 4, right?
Yeah. So the 2 additional competitors will be from NXT UK, which is still to be decided.
Yes. This, again, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but wow, this match was, if you think of the names here, it's everything that you thought it was. It was fast. It was high-flying. It was, to keep things short, it was a lot of flippy shit. Lot of flippy shit.
Flippy shit.
Yeah, so...
You know what? The thing that impressed me the most was that Lio Rush really showed up in fight mode.
Yes, he did. And you remember I said this when we were watching Lio Rush. What was the first thing that you think of when you see this young man? He looks like what Lamar, if any of you guys are football fans, what Lamar Jackson would look like if he was a professional wrestler.
Yes.
He's just that
speed,
fast.
Athleticism, and just...
You can't touch him.
No.
Like, every time, he's like trying to swat a wasp or a fly. Like, you can't.
No, you can't get to him.
And then, of course, Swerve Scott putting on its impressive display as well.
Swerve is so over.
He worked more of the power game this match because he was in the ring.
And was the largest of them?
The largest of the 3 people in the ring. And obviously with Lio Rush being much faster than him, which is not something you'd say about Swerve. He was... Yeah, kind of working the big man role of the match, which is, I didn't see that coming. Not much out of Tyler Breeze. When there was, he was, a lot of the kind of hard hitting, a lot of super kicks.
Tyler Breeze played a lot of his greatest hits, and he did a really good third man job in this match.
There was, however, no point where you thought Tyler Breeze was going to win this match. You knew it was going to be either Swerve or Lio Rush.
Personally, I just think Tyler Breeze is more or less just on cruise control until Fandango gets back.
He's enjoying being on NXT, though.
Absolutely.
You can tell
Fandango was as well when he was initially relegated or whatever you want to call it.
You see it when he walks out in his entrance. He's just soaking it up. He's having so much fun. This is what you had before he went to WWE, the main roster, and how do you? It boggles my mind how they mess up such obvious gimmicks. Like, it's not hard. It's not. You had Shawn Michaels. I don't want to get on a tangent here because I'll start getting angry.
Yeah, we do have a battery life on your camera.
Yeah, so at the end of the match, it is Isaiah Swerve Scott pulling out the victory. Kind of caught me off guard because there were some really good false finishes in this match where I thought Leo Rush was going to win this match. But no, they go with the Swerve, no pun intended, as it is Isaiah Scott.
That hits the JML driver, and that is one hell of a move.
Yeah. So that's that. We then get a Rhea Ripley promo.
Which, pretty straightforward and to the point.
Yeah.
I'm excited to face Toni Storm at Worlds Collide, and I'm ready to face whoever comes my way in Portland, and I'll run right through them the same way I'm going to run right through Toni Storm. She said it with about that same amount of enthusiasm, maybe a little bit more.
Pretty much, yeah. So then we get essentially the DIY reunion confirmed.
DIY reunion is confirmed. Gargano is talking to an interviewer out in the parking lot. Ciampa comes up and says, "Hey, do you see what they're saying about this?" He goes, "What do you think?" And then Keith Lee gives us his medical update by absolutely running through a member of the Undisputed Era, or was it a member of the security team? I didn't catch it.
It was hard to tell, but he was not only... I mean, he did destroy...
He was disappeared. He disappeared.
But he was wrecking the security team. I mean, there was one point where he picked up a security guard, threw him into a car, shattered the glass. He was just... And he looked... That is one angry man. He was intense.
The thing that might have been best about that was the way Johnny Gargano was looking at the car like...
Bro,
wait a minute, was that my car?
Yeah, he was like, hold up, Keith. Like, I get you mad, but bro, come on now. So, I would not want to be the Undisputed Era next week.
And then the match we've been waiting for. This was actually, for how much I usually hate on Battle Royals, this was a pretty good match.
It was good.
In a way that Battle Royals go, it was a good match.
It was good. They caught me off guard. Obviously, we knew there were going to be a couple of the developmental talent sprinkled in there, but there were some names where I just didn't know some of these people.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've been out of the loop a little bit on NXT, but,
Yeah, there was a woman in here that I swear to God that was Wonder Woman.
Yes, Wonder Woman. We were rooting for Wonder Woman the whole time, just so you know. So whoever you were, Wonder Woman girl, we were rooting for you.
Yeah, there's Wonder Woman. There was, as I was calling her, green-haired girl.
Yes, who evidently would eliminate the big surprise entrant.
Yeah, so a lot of big names. Let's talk about. So of course we have you have your standards. You have Candice LeRae, Mia Yim, Bianca Belair, Tegan Knox, but then you have kind of the surprises. You have Mercedes Martinez, which if you remember her, she popped up in AEW.
Yeah, she was in the female casino Battle Royale right in front of us. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I want to go back to Chicago so bad.
But this also kind of highlights just how much AEW has dropped the ball in their women's division, because you had her, AEW, you had her, and then you let her escape to NXT.
Absolutely.
And I don't get how you keep letting this talent just walk out the front door.
And we have Casey Catanzaro, who comes back, the Ultimate Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, she is amazing.
Yeah,
didn't do much, but
I've always loved her as a competitor. I hope she shows up in the women's Royal Rumble, because she did really, really well. And then, of course, the final entrant. They're about to ring the bell,
and this like changed the whole mood of the match. Like as soon as you heard this theme song hit, you were like,
"That's my pick.
That's the pick of the match."
Shayna Baszler.
Shayna's
back.
Is back, and yeah, it was like she gets in the ring, and every single woman is just looking at her like, "We got to take her out."
Yep. And of course, they did. She was the first woman out. Just kidding. It was MJ Jenkins, because focus on the main target, guys.
Yeah, so you knew that obviously the big names it was gonna come down to like Io Shirai, Tegan, Bianca. Like you knew who was gonna be in this match.
So there were. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They took a while getting rid of the filler talent.
So the one thing that I would like to note is the stare down between Baszler and Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah,
that could be an absolute slobber knocker.
It's gonna be so good, please. NXT. I need it. Make that a match, please.
And then, of course, we come down to the last 5. Tegan Nox goes absolute super babyface mode. It's 3-on-1 with, as you said, green-haired girl sleeping out on the floor.
So it was funny because at this point, I had been keeping track of who was getting eliminated, and they made mention of the green-haired girl going under the ropes, not getting... Obviously, that means she wasn't eliminated, but then they just kind of forget about her.
Chauncey Blackheart.
Chauncey Blackheart, I believe is her name, yes.
Sorry, I don't mean to just call you green-haired girl.
No, I do.
I know your name.
But, and then, the announcers just kind of go, this is the final 5, and I'm sitting here like, did I miss something?
Yeah, they were like, oh, it's the final 4.
I was like, no, I'm pretty sure.
There's 5.
I know she's out there. Yeah. So we get the
Tegan went full Super Cena.
She went full John Cena, Hulk Hogan mode. I mean, you remember the way Cena dismantled the Nexus? It was that.
She went Lady Kane, hit the choke slam onto another competitor.
Beautiful.
Most beautiful choke slam I've seen in years. Oh, God, I love you, Tegan. Hit the shiniest wizard, and she was just all over the place. Yeah. And as she's going to the top rope, Dakota Kai.
Yeah, I mean, me and you both called
it. I called it as soon as I saw Dakota Kai was not in the match. I was like, okay, well, it's going to come down to maybe final 4 or 5. And Dakota Kai is going to eliminate her.
But here's the thing, and it was kind of the same way we called the way Dakota was going to turn on her a couple months ago. I mean, is it predictable? Is it obvious? Yes, but it's still good.
But is it something we want to see? Yes.
And that's why it's like, you can... WWE, sometimes predictable is good. That's, I think, where the main roster tends to fall flat. So they try to go for shock value, and it's like, no, just... There's a formula. Stick to it.
So now we're down to 4, and Chauncey Blackheart gets up, throws Shayna Baszler over the top rope. Shayna Baszler is absolutely...
Stunned.
Yes, stunned. No better word.
The crowd is losing their mind. She's relishing it. She's taking it in. She's
eliminated by Bianca Belair.
Yeah. And that's what happens. I mean, she was taking her time, rubbing it into Shayna Baszler's face. You knew it was going to happen. She just gets quickly dispatched. Yep.
And then Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, final 2. That one goes on for about a minute or 2.
As it should.
Right. It was pretty good.
And you had Bianca playing the power role, Io as more of the specialist type role, and I know you're not the biggest fan of
not at all.
Bianca, which I don't get. I love Bianca Belair, but you did mention that you kind of think about more of her earlier days.
Yeah, I think about
she's come so
she
far.
has come a long way, but anytime she hits somebody with the hair, I want to just bomb it. That's the stupidest gimmick. It's literally just a rope.
Yeah,
we talked about
this.
There
was one point where Io Shirai
steps on it
on the rope, and she just yanks it from underneath.
Yeah,
and I was that's like a rope.
That's not even a weave. That's a rope.
Yeah, but you had Io Shirai was my pick as soon as Shayna Baszler went out to win this match, and they swerve us again. It's Bianca Belair with. The way this match ended kind of caught me off guard because Bianca kind of has Io perched up on top of her shoulders, and you think she's gonna toss her over and then Io's gonna catch herself on the apron, but no, she just kind of bumps her as she's going off, and then just brutal landing on the outside of the ring. That's how it ends.
All right, so match of the night, MVP for NXT.
All right, so I had to think about this for a minute once I talked about the swerve match, but I think I'm going to stick to my guns. I think my match of the night is going to be the Broserweights versus Andrews and what's his name?
Flash Morgan Webster.
Flash Morgan Webster, yes.
My match of the night is going to be the aforementioned triple threat match.
Okay.
It is going to be the Swerve Scott, Lio Rush, Prince Pretty match.
Okay.
MVP for you?
My MVP is going to be Lio Rush. I thought, which you would think my MVP would be from the match that I did pick, but no, Lio Rush, I just thought he put on a impressive display tonight. He was really showing his stuff. I'm actually disappointed he didn't win. Not that I'm not happy for Swerve, but I wanted to see Lio get another crack at it, and maybe he will in the future.
Well, I mean, for MVP for tonight, the options are absolutely, one might say, limitless. I'm going to go with Keith Lee.
That's not a bad choice.
Keith Lee is going to be my MVP. The way he was on the mic and the fact that, now, granted, of course, sell an injury.
He also wasn't there much.
Yep, sell an injury, whatever. The way that he came back from that to show, nothing's happening to me that's going to stop me from getting into this match next week.
Okay.
Keith Lee, MVP for that one. So we're going to go ahead and move on now.
You're going to switch gears.
The part
have a little bit of a paradigm shift, if you will.
Yeah. I wish we could have a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah, but it's a little late for that.
Which I do have at home. A little bit of the bubbly. Chris Jericho, I love you. Anyways, yeah, you probably hate me because I'm one of them sweaty neckbeard marks, right? So the first match tonight is a 4-way tag team match. And it is for the right to go on to face SCU for the AEW World Tag Team Championships.
So
I would like to first kick things off. I don't know how I missed this. We are not reviewing AEW Dynamite tonight. No. We are reviewing AEW Bash at the Beach. That's right. Middle fingers all around, WWE.
Yeah, so they do kind of a cold open to start. No flashy entrances or anything. Just all the competitors are already in the ring. They announce everybody. Ding, ding, ding. Match begins.
So it is the number 4 tag team in AEW, which would be Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, who obviously have been having their issues for the last couple of weeks. The number 3, which would be the Best Friends with freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Number 2, the Young Bucks. And number 1, Santana and Ortiz.
Who have dropped the Pride and Powerful moniker, I see.
Which happened a while ago.
Of course, I have.
You're behind.
Yeah.
Of course, the proud and powerful team that they are, they put on a fantastic show tonight. Ortiz, I don't know what happened to your hair, man, but that was loco.
I don't like that.
What?
Let's move on. Rapido.
Oh man,
that's how as cringy as that was as cringy as what you just said.
You laughing at my Spanish?
A little bit.
So Nick and Trent start the match. They have a show of strength. I really just said that this match was fast paced, it was hard hitting, and it was pretty. Like it was nice to watch.
It's funny because the match starts with an elite chant because 4 members of this match are of the elite.
So of course we quickly wind this match down here because, I mean, it's so hard to recount spots when you're talking about tag team matches in AEW. It just is. There's so many spots.
It's a spot fest, yeah.
2 of the best ones, of course, were the 4-on-4 suplex where Orange Cassidy gets in the ring and is the deciding factor. And then, of course, Orange Cassidy later throws himself off the top rope. But at the end, Hangman Adam Page tags in off the back of one of the Young Bucks. That was a little hard. I'm sorry about that. Tags in off one of the backs of one of the Young Bucks. Is in the ring, or is about to get in the ring, going for the buckshot lariat, and the Jackson brother turns around, and he's looking at Page going, I had it won.
Yeah, he's
I had it won. And Page is going, get out of the way. So, of course, this is delayed for a second, but Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page hit their tag team finisher, even though they don't particularly love each other right now. It's confusing because they were thrown into a tag team, made a finisher, but the V-trigger buckshot lariat combination for the 1, 2, and 3.
So what I thought was kind of dumb about all this is that this, I mean, it's every man for himself, or every team for themselves. This is a opportunity at a tag team championship. So I don't. If you're the Young Bucks, you got no. As JR did say at the end of the match, you've got no one to blame but yourself. There.
Exactly. You didn't finish the match right then and there. If you had it, win it.
Exactly.
So JR did mention it, and it looked like that was what Kenny Omega was trying to explain as he was calming down the Young Bucks. The next segment in tonight's show is Cody coming out to the ring, and he is responding to MJF.
I love Cody's entrance, and every time I see it, it just reminds me of like when you make your own character on 2K, how you can make multiple, but you're gonna give yourself like the flashes, all the pyro, all the lights.
Yeah, man. I mean,
that's what Cody did with AEW.
Well, this is the thing. When you make your 2K entrances, whose do you make first?
You always make yours.
Exactly. Everybody else, they get whatever's left over.
Pretty much. And it kind of looks like that's where all the pyro budget goes to.
Absolutely. So he first starts talking about how MJF is weak. He's a lazy heel. He's not old-fashioned. He doesn't do more because he can't do more. Less is more with MJF because there is no lazy, more.
Yeah.
So then he references the 3 things that MJF said that Cody has to do in order for them to have a match at Revolution. Number 1, he references the steel cage match with Wardlow.
Yikes, yeah.
Which is terrifying. Now, Cody says he's surprised that MJF would even suggest that because MJF doesn't want Wardlow to realize his own potential and leave him. And that makes tons of sense to me. I mean, you got a guy like Wardlow at your side, I'm not letting him go anywhere.
Was that the only one that was getting, like, the John Cena, Alex Riley vibes from that?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Little bit. So we have...
subtle shot.
We have that, and then, of course, he talks second about not getting his hands on MJF, and he goes, that's not really a big deal.
Yeah. He said he's in his head,
Yeah.
He's...
I'm always there. I'm pressing my thumb on your brain. And then, of course, he talks about the controversial, slightly uncomfortable 10 lashes on national television.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Now, granted, it is with a belt. It's not with a whip. But it was tasteful.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. That's kind of like the goofy side, I feel like.
Yeah. But I feel like that's additionally the kind of thing that when it happens is going to just be all kinds of odd to watch.
Uncomfortable because it's 10. So that's kind of what I thought when he said 10. I was like, oh goodness, this is gonna go on forever. Like unless it's like a.
Oh no, if he no, like MJF is just gonna absolutely be basking in that.
And that's gonna go. It's gonna.
That's
feel
gonna be
like
an interesting segment to watch and review. That's for sure. So. Cody accepts all 3 things and says he accepts and he knows just where to have that steel cage match. It's revealed later in the night that the steel cage match against Wardlow will be taking place in Atlanta, which is at the home of the Atlanta Hawks. It's one of the largest stadiums that AEW has gotten to allow them in their doors. So this is going to be huge for them. This is a huge selling point for the tickets because...
It's a step up, man, for real.
Exactly. I mean, tickets have been selling well, but they haven't sold out yet. So, you want a reason to sell out? Steel cage match.
Exactly.
All right, so number 3, our third thing tonight.
One of my lesser points of the night.
Okay, you fell asleep. Just be honest.
Well, are we talking about the Jory Janela match? Promo?
Oh, God.
Again.
I didn't even want to talk about that. Be honest with you.
You
go ahead.
I mean, it's not much.
You take the mic on that one.
It's a pretty low point of the match of the night, and it kind of leads on to another low point.
Yeah,
which,
the
as
Janela,
you mentioned,
the Janela promo was
weird,
cringeworthy.
Yeah,
really. I mean, I get the reference to Penelope Ford, AEW Dark, ha ha ha, and I'm a bad boy or whatever. But it didn't register with me.
Yeah, we do get into the next part of the night, and as he does reference, I don't know what it is with the. Actually, I do know what it is with the women's division in AEW. It's just not very good. You have like 2 or 3 actual like stars, and then the rest, man, I just don't care. In AEW, you have to give me a reason to care because right now I don't have one.
All right, so the match was Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida taking on Mel and Awesome Kong. However, Brandy subbed in for Awesome Kong at the last minute. And Awesome Kong doesn't make an appearance at all.
Which, again...
And then,
if had Awesome Kong win this match, I'd have been all over that.
I know you would have. And then, of course, Luther at ringside. So, Luther interferes right away. Statlander's in the ring. Hikaru Shida's making her entrance. Luther gets in front of Hikaru Shida, blocks her from getting down to the ring, and Brandy and Mel are absolutely taking it to Chris Statlander in the ring. Shida pulls out a kendo stick and starts beating Luther over the head with it. Excuse me, not the head, the back. Got a little excited. Slides in the ring, chases off both Mel and Brandy Rhodes, and we start the match. And this was another match that, again, I wasn't super invested. I love Chris Statlander. I don't particularly love her gimmick, but I love her as a wrestler. She's a fantastic wrestler. And you woke up just in time to find that out.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I did doze off during this match because, again, I don't care.
Brandy, great on the mic. She's working in the ring. She's doing a really good job. She's getting there. I'm not invested in the Mel character. I don't get it. I don't understand.
By the way, I just thought about this too. If you want to know just what point of the match I fell asleep, it was the entrances.
Yeah.
That's uninvested I am in the women's division.
And again, with Hikaru Shida, I mean, she's a fantastic wrestler. I'm just not super invested in the women's division. I mean, maybe this just speaks personally to my lack of interest in Riho as a champion. Riho as a champion does absolutely nothing for me, and it has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that she's not there. Yeah, ever. And when she is, you're like, can you go away? She can't cut promos, and I don't know if she can in Japanese. I haven't seen her cut any promos, but I've never seen her cut a promo. And if I'm being honest, every match she has is just her playing the underdog role and then somehow picking up the win, and you're just like, oh God, drop it already, please. Absolutely. I mean, she's a fantastic wrestler. She's the things that she could do in the ring. She's fine, and I can see why AEW loves her. And she could have been a great champion down the line, but not the first, not as your inaugural champion. Which is why we continue to say we need to put the belt on somebody else. But first, we need to upsize the belt a little bit. Oh, 100%. That's like one of those. If you ever saw WCPW, it's like one of their men's title. Yikes. I personally would like to see the belt go on the bunny. I don't know. I've always liked Allie. I liked her wrestling. I've never particularly loved her character, and this gives us a different side. I'd be okay with that if it gets the belt off Riho. Yes. So I'd put it on the librarian at this point. Ooh. I'm desperate. I don't. I'm desperate. Clearly you are. The match ends with Statlander hitting a package tombstone pile driver. That was brutal. Yeah, that was absolutely brutal. For the 3 count. Dropped her right on her head. Yeah. Please be safe, kids. Next, we get one of my favorite matches of the night. Jon Moxley and Sammy Guevara. This was excellent. Not only... I mean, it's excellent before the match even starts. First of all, Sammy Guevara has become quickly from like one of my... like, why are you in the inner circle? Like, kind of my least favorite member to... He's taking it by storm. He's taking one of my favorite wrestlers. Advantage of this opportunity. He's walking down to the ring. So it's Bash at the Beach, right? So the stage has, like, these, like, giant, like, beach, like, lifeguard chairs. And they just have, like, you know, a girl just, like, chilling in a swimsuit. Basically nothing. Yeah, in a swimsuit in the chair. He's like... hitting on her, like, hey, what's up, girl? Like, you know, like that. Yeah, like, blowing her kisses. And then he gets in the ring. And, no, actually, even before he gets in the ring, this was kind of weird, too, because you hear Justin Roberts go to announce, here's a Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. And we're both like, huh? And it cuts immediately to commercial break. I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. But while they're in picture-to-picture, Sammy Guevara gets... the cue cards. The cue cards, and just starts cutting a promo. Oh yeah, he does that all the time. It's great. It's amazing. And again, I hadn't watching. Welcome to it. It's amazing. Sammy Guevara, keep it going. Well, usually I watch AEW recorded when we're not doing the podcast, and I fast forward through it. That one I just hit the fast forward button once just to see him turn him a little bit quicker. That's it. I love his cue card promos.
Fantastic. The only thing I was disappointed in is that like when they cut to the very end of the commercial break, you kind of missed the last card or two that he pulled out, which that kind of sucks. But I want to know now. I'm fully invested in those cards, man.
And like that's great, but nothing is better than Jon Moxley pulling up in a Ford GT40.
I was like, that's not your car, dude.
Mox pulling up in the GT40 that he stole from the Inner Circle was absolutely moment of the night for me, personally. But again, I'm an AEW guy. Clearly.
So this match kicks off fast with a Sammy Guevara just going right at Moxley.
Oh, yeah, right out of the gate, Sammy Guevara was all over Jon Moxley, trying to get retribution for what he did to the Inner Circle, what he did to Chris Jericho, bashing him over the head with a bottle of a little bit of the bubbly.
This match was a Sammy Guevara showcase for the most part.
And again, he doesn't disappoint. This is one of those guys that when I was watching Double or Nothing, I was like, I can see why they signed him. Do something.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing about Kip Sabian. They've done something with one of them.
Yeah. But it was this is kind of like, how it's funny when you see like not larger, but when you see guys like Ambrose getting matches with like these kind of high flyer, like fast pace wrestlers.
Moxley?
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, not larger, like but kind of like more.
You said
muscular.
Ambrose. No, they're totally different people.
Whatever, man.
Totally different people.
Yeah, so like kind of like kind of buff-ish, and Ambrose, he had that kind of transformation in like his body type, and he kind of became more muscular. But yeah, he's in the ring with these like high flyer, lightweight guys. You're kind of like, okay, how's the style going to work in this match? And it seemed like Moxley was kind of playing more of the a big man role.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of slowing the match down a little bit, kind of playing more power, more hard-hitting moves. Meanwhile, Sammy Guevara was just doing flips, flying all around, bouncing off the ropes.
And this is why Jon Moxley is arguably one of the best professional wrestlers in the world right now. Like, the things that he can do in the ring, and I'm not talking about flippy shit. I'm talking about in-ring psychology.
Yes.
This guy is well beyond his years in that.
So this was, for the most part, again, a Sammy Guevara showcase. He was... kind of controlling the match for the majority of it, but...
Moxley hits the OG Dirty Deeds.
Yeah.
Which we thought was pretty cool. I said it should have been kicked out at 1 as another middle finger. And then, of course, goes for the Avalanche Paradigm Shift at one point. I don't know if you've seen one of those yet, but that move is absolutely brutal. Thank God he didn't hit it on Sammy Guevara. It might have killed him. And Moxley wins in an interesting fashion. Sammy Guevara goes for what I would guess would be a springboard stunner.
Yeah.
Moxley catches him in a rear naked choke, drops him to the floor.
He tapped.
Immediately.
So Moxley is a submission specialist now?
Now, yeah, I mean, Moxley, everybody can pull out the rear naked choke once in a while.
What just made me laugh was just the fact that he, like, barely gets wrapped, and he's just almost, like, as soon as, like, he gets the arm right, he's like, nope, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I want to be in a rear naked choke from Moxley.
Yeah.
That just sounds like a good way to lose consciousness.
That is also fair.
And then Jericho's music hits. Moxley's ready for him.
Lights go out.
Lights go out. And when they come back up, the entire Inner Circle is standing up behind him.
Yep.
Moxley turns around, looks at them, kind of looks back, and then looks at them again and goes,
F it.
at least I'll get my shots in. Runs at Chris Jericho, takes him down, starts beating on him. Of course, the numbers game overcomes him. At one point, Jake Hager hits him with a low blow, a sprinting, low blow. Sprinting
knee to the buttocks.
Yeah. Oh. Renee Young, I really hope you don't want to have kids. I'm so sorry about that. And then, of course, Chris Jericho's spot, which...
Okay, so I know it's pro wrestling. I know you can't realistically do
stab
this.
A man in the eye.
No, so Jericho he came out in his
spiky
Painmaker
jacket.
Spiky jacket. He rips one of the spikes out of.
He unscrewed it. They just screw in.
Yeah. So he kind of pulls one of those out and walks up kind of like Jason style, like slow and menacingly, holding the spike in his hand, and JR is like, what's he doing here? Like, like, what's gonna happen? And then just the way he does it, he was like, yeah, like, but it was like from the angle they showed, you could tell it clearly didn't hit anything, but obviously it's.
Props to TNT later in the night when they re-show that. They don't show that angle. They show the back angle.
Yes.
Props to you guys on that.
And even when they do show the front angle, it's like they don't slow motion it. So like WWE would just kind of been like slow motion, like you can clearly tell it. Now they were just like, nope, just show the standard. Yeah. So stabbed in the eye with a spike. Obviously, this cranks up the intensity to right over 100. All of a sudden, things get very serious. The commentators start talking in their slow, like, this is serious voice.
And I don't know what this is going to mean for Jon Moxley, and we'll give you updates as soon as we get them and as many times as we can throughout the night. And Mox, I mean, he sold that.
He did.
I mean, granted, he's a man who knows pain very well. He sold the hell out of that.
The only thing I didn't like about that spot was the fact that later on in the night you do see they show Moxley and there's like blood stains and they have like a towel soaked in blood. For how long Moxley was out there, I think they should have at least had like a little packet of like fake blood or something for him to like start to put on when he's covering his eye, because like for all that time you don't see any blood.
Right, and they don't get a towel down to the ring until the referees do get there. So that is true.
That but at least for me, it kind of took me out of the immersion, because I mean you're always looking to be immersed in what you're watching, and just kind of for me it was just kind of like, well, that's a little lame. But.
Right. And then we have what the match that I was looking forward to most tonight, which was DDP in his in-ring return, Dustin Rhodes, and QT Marshall against MJF, The Butcher, and The Blade.
So it's 2020. We have Big Show, freaking DDP back.
Yeah, man. DDP.
Man,
DDPY.
Man, it's great.
DDPY must be a hell of a drug.
I will say, if we're comparing bodies, Big Show definitely looks better shape than...
Big Show's also significantly younger than DDP, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, but... Yeah.
But, like, okay, hold on.
It is also funny, before you just real quick, I also said that DDP's kind of got that Christian body type going on, which is funny because Christian is also significantly younger than DDP. So that's not exactly a good thing for Christian.
DDP, you look phenomenal for your age.
Yes, he definitely looks great.
Holy crap. You look better than Taker.
All kidding aside, yes.
You look better than Taker. You're 10 years older than him.
I don't know if I go that far.
I don't know.
The last couple times Taker came, like, after.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. We're talking about post-Goldberg match.
And then, of course, the crowd was fully immersed in the bang. But MJF was fully immersed, apparently, in Diamond Dallas's daughter, as the shirt read, I banged Dallas's daughter with the, yeah. It's creative. It is. MJF, look, I'm a heel guy. You can see that. I like my heels. I like guys who are absolute assholes on TV. MJF, dude, you're something else, man. You're far and above what I would even venture to be as a heel, because
he is gonna do great things. He's already doing great things.
He is better than me, and I know it.
I can't wait to see, like, this. He's one of those guys where, like, I just wish I could see the future, like, 10, 15 years down the line and just see where he ends up in terms of his career, like, his status.
This is like watching Jericho in WCW.
Yes. That
is what we're doing right now. We have 30 years of this to come.
Yeah, he's great. I love this guy.
Anyways, the match itself...
Yeah, I mean, it's as good as it could be.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3 older guys against 3 younger guys. You're going to get your spots. Dustin hit the Destroyer again. Oh my God, that is so beautiful. I wish WWE didn't have the Destroyer band, because that would have been everything. Goldust hitting a Destroyer.
I don't think it... I mean, we've seen it in NXT multiple times.
Yeah, but the main roster is a little different. They don't...
You've seen it on the main roster a couple times.
I don't think I have.
Well, I've seen it on the main roster a couple of times. So.
You do watch more WWE than I do, so that's fair.
Not saying much.
Yeah. So we do see a couple of spots. DDP hits the diving crossbody. I suppose he just kind of threw himself onto a pile.
For as old as he is, it looked amazing. But if we're just talking about like from a technical standpoint,
it could be worse.
It could be worse, but no, it wasn't.
QT hit the QT special.
Yeah,
which
that looked really good. That looked good.
Don't get me wrong. I know he's kind of an up and comer, and I mean he's older, but
that looked really good.
He's somebody who's still developing, and same thing with Brandon Cutler. Those guys are both closely tied with the elite. And those are both guys that I think from that tie will get significantly better before they retire.
Oh, please don't put Cutler in the same conversation as QT.
They're very different people. Cutler's
a character.
Look, I like Cutler.
Someone has to.
Yeah. Well, me and his mom. That's about it.
Yeah.
So DDP does finally go for a diamond cutter. He's hit with a low blow from MJF. The ref does not see. And then DDP gets his revenge, hits the diamond cutter on MJF, which, look, I sang the praises on Monday. He hit one good diamond cutter tonight. One of them was subpar.
I mean, still better than the AJ Styles RKO.
Yes, I think me trying to RKO you right now might be better
than AJ Styles hitting an RKO, yes.
Of course, MJF does win the match with a roll-up on QT Marshall.
Grabbing the tights.
At the end, grabbing the tights, of course. And then the Butcher, the Blade, the Bunny, and MJF walk up the ramp. And the crowd starts chanting bang. And I can't figure out why. They pan back to the ring, and DDP is out there celebrating because he just competed in a match at 63 years old for the first time in 3 years.
And they're chanting, "You still got it."
And he does.
For the most part, yes, he does.
At 63 years old.
Man, it's that DDP yoga, bro.
I'm telling you, dude, I'm getting on that DDPY.
Yeah, you gotta get some of that DDPY, bro.
Oh, my gosh. Anyways, we finished the night with... Go ahead.
I mean... I actually want to let you go because I don't want to... You're excited for this, so I want you to...
What am I excited for?
Well, it's the last match. I mean, this match should have been so much more.
It should have been, but I think it did the right things for the right people.
So I will let you go because I'll let the positivity before the...
Darby Allin versus Pac. My only note is rest in peace, Darby Allin. Look, this match could have done a ton for Darby Allin's career, but he's already on a skyrocket. His trajectory is far beyond what I think anybody could have predicted. We have, as a fan base, as a wrestling community, have latched on to Darby Allin in a way that I don't think anybody could have seen coming. So I think it's important that, he has his shots, but in this match, I think it did the right things. It set Pac up as an absolute monster. This man destroys anyone and anything in his way, and he will do anything it takes to win. Now, the one thing that I thought was really important for the Darby Allin perspective is he kicked out of a lot. He kicked out of a hell of a lot of stuff. There were points where he was like literally grabbing onto Pac's boots, couldn't move, gets hit with a brutal move, and still kicks out at 2. So I think it did a really good job of developing the story that Darby Allin has never quit. He takes any kind of pain, and he's rearing to go. He's got an adrenaline rush that can hit in a second, but he's not quite there yet.
So all that's fine and dandy, but that's not what I wanted from this match. When I hear Darby Allin and Pac, you know what I think? I think flippy shit. I was immediately thinking like
But Pac is not just relegated to flipping shit anymore.
No. It's not about that. You don't even have to go super high octane fast, but pick it up for Christ's sakes. I mean, this was like some of the matches we watched at Wrestle Kingdom when like the names alone sell the match, but then you're like, why is this match so slow? And that's kind of how I felt watching this. I was like, this should have been. I never felt like this match got into second gear. Like it never hit that like, let's go, we're in it, baby. Like.
This could be just me. Maybe it is. From a ring psychology standpoint, maybe it makes more sense for Pac to slow it down.
No.
Because Darby can't out-wrestle Pac.
So I'm not saying... I am by no means saying this was a bad match. I am by no means saying
no, it's
that
just not what you want.
From a storytelling, from a in-ring psychology, the match was great. Like, I got what they were going for, and it probably makes more sense than what I want. It's just, when I hear those two names, this was the match of the night that I was so excited. I was like, I can't wait for this. This is going to be awesome. This is the last match. I freaking, like, jumping up and down in my seat, and then I was just like, at the end, I was like, well, that's disappointing. Like, it wasn't what I was expecting, and maybe I hyped myself up a little bit too much. So I went into it with a little bit too big of expectations. So I can't really be critical of the match for that. But I mean, give the dog a bone. I mean, you know when you put those two guys in a match with those names, you know what people like me are looking for. At least, even if you want to like just do it for a little bit. I mean, something. Pick up in the second gear and then you can slow it back down. But you never got that. I mean, the most we got was a coffin drop. Something.
So, anyways, Pac ends the match with a black arrow, which would be the most we got. A black arrow. A little high octane. Anyways.
Coffin drop.
Oh, Jesus. So, Pac hits the black arrow onto the back of Darby Allin, pins him for the 1,
that was 99.
2, 3. Tony Schiavone comes down to the ring, is interviewing Pac, and he says,
this was awkward.
Well, you might as well just introduce me as the new number 1 contender, because you heard Chris Jericho. Moxley's too hurt. He's not going to be there. There's no way.
Schiavone's like standing there with this like dumb look on his face.
Wait a minute. I have word from backstage right now. I'm sorry. I got to take this backstage. They go backstage, and Jon Moxley's getting escorted into an ambulance, and the AEW doctor gets in with him. And I don't know if maybe the AEW doctor told him what Pac just said. Moxley breaks out of the back door of the locked ambulance.
I also don't know if the guy driving apparently doesn't speak English, because they literally, as soon as they close the door, they're like, drive, let's get out of here. And then they give Moxley like a good 30 seconds to get out the ambulance. I'm like, you should have been out the parking lot by now.
They were in the building. They had to stop. They had to start the car. You can't have.
It was already started.
It was on. You can't have all those fumes, dude. Look, I'm making excuses.
Yes,
okay?
Clearly.
Clearly, I'm grasping at straws.
I mean, and clearly I'm nitpicking, but I just thought that was, again, kind of silly.
So Mox breaks out, just runs through the arena to the stage.
And I caught this spot too, didn't I?
We both did.
As soon as I saw him get hit, I was like, wouldn't it be dope if he just... You see Moxley go full
on Stone Cold.
Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, that spot.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok come back with like a freaking eye patch or like a towel wrapped around his head. And
I was calling the full on Stone Cold, gets injured earlier in the night, comes back out at the end of the night. You can't put me down, blah, 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 I'm the rattlesnake.
Yeah, I was just thinking like Thor Ragnarok come out with the Odin eye patch and just like looking like a straight BA, bro. Like it was...
Mm-hmm. So we do have that, and Moxley basically just says, whatever you think's going to happen, you're wrong. Because nothing is going to stop me from this title shot. And next week, on board the Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea Part 2, I'm going to kick your ass. Okay. That's all I needed, Mox.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, less is more with Jon Moxley sometimes.
It's funny because, we might as well have had JR cut the promo, because he basically said everything that Moxley said before he said it. I was like, JR, do you want the mic? Like,
yeah, exactly. So we have Pac versus Moxley next week on the cruise.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Number one contender.
We considered going to that too, actually, at one point, but it's a little pricey.
I was ready to go. I was booked.
It's a little pricey for your boy.
My bags were ready. I was on board. I was going to Nassau. Anyways, on board the cruise, it'll be the number one contenders match. In addition, the World Tag Team Championship match will take place on the cruise of Jericho. Drink it in, man. Match of the night, MVP for AEW.
So, as much as I want to kind of give it to, because I mean, obviously one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW is Jon Moxley, and I kind of wanted the way Sammy Guevara showed. You can't not give it to the tag team match at the beginning of, like, that was amazing.
That was, yeah. The Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match was far and above the best thing I saw tonight.
Now, with that being said, my MVP is going to be Sammy Guevara, because I think he did the most tonight to kind of set himself apart from everyone else in the roster. Kind of really, this was his night to shine. I think he made the most of it. Although I would understand if you go in a different direction.
I'm going in an entirely different direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going the entire opposite end of the spectrum from you right now. My MVP is DDP.
Oh, that's not who I thought you were going to pick.
Who did you think I was going to pick?
I thought you were going to go with your boy Moxley.
Oh, look,
with the whole Steve Austin spot.
No, that was really cool, but it was a little predictable, and it's not every day you see a 60-plus-year-old man do the things that DDP did in the ring.
Well, at that point, I'm changing my pick from Monday night. Freaking Big Show is going to be my
DDP in the ring, granted, the last time you wrestled, you were still, 60 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
But just about pushing 60. You haven't lost a step, dude. Like, you look fantastic. You wrestled fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And you told a story. Like, I get that you want to play a backstage role. That's what you signed on for with AEW. You signed on to be an advisor and everything. Do not hang up the boots. Do not hang up the tights. This is something that, not on a regular basis, by all means.
Please don't.
This is something I want to see more of, though. I want to see DDP in an AEW ring on TNT, because you were fantastic tonight.
Yes. So let's kind of compare shows here at the end. Talking about which show you liked more. I enjoyed both shows very much tonight. I thought it's going to be very close for me, because I thought AEW started things out hot. They kind of while there was that that very very strong low point with
the women's match,
but it jumped right back up. So, and then NXT kind of had a similar low point. Kind of you had a lot of promos going on, and then you had what was the match? I can't even think of it. The Grizzled Young Vets match, which it was a good match, but it was, I don't know, it was kind of the low point of the show. So it's hard for me. I'll let you go first on this one.
This is going to be a little bit weird for me, and it's not that I'm taking NXT. I think NXT overall had more good matches, but I think the wrestling on AEW was better tonight.
How does that work?
Because of the women's match. And even Chris Statlander's wrestling was good.
Huh?
What? Okay, don't give me that face. What do you mean?
So, the women's division in the match that we've been picking on all night, all of a sudden you're going to say that match is better than the women's battle royale match?
No, I didn't say that. I said that there are more good quality matches in NXT, but the wrestling altogether as a show was better on...
But you highlighted the women's match. So
I said even in that match, I at least enjoyed the wrestling of Chris Statlander.
But then, what match did you not enjoy the wrestling in NXT?
It's not that I didn't enjoy the wrestling in NXT. It's that I enjoyed the wrestling of all the other matches in AEW significantly more.
But the matches are still better in NXT.
As a whole, because there wasn't a bad match the way that there was in AEW. What I'm saying is one flawed apple doesn't kill the bushel.
That just, I don't know.
If I bring you a bushel of beautifully ripe red apples with one that's absolutely rotten to the core, or a bushel of semi-ripe red apples with no rotten ones.
But NXT wasn't semi-ripe, though. I mean, as you said, all the matches were great, so.
But not as good.
You said the wrestling you don't think it was good, but you said the matches were great overall.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. I am saying to you that I appreciated the wrestling from the Fatal 4-Way match, from the 6-man tag team match, from Guevara Moxley, from...
You're going to tell me you appreciated DDP and, like...
I appreciated them more than James Drake.
More than... You just don't like them.
I don't like the wrestling that they put on. I was genuinely bored by the style of the Grizzled Young Veterans. And I have been since I started watching NXT UK.
I guess that's fair. I guess I see kind of, where you're going then. So I'm assuming you're going to say that AEW is the better show of the night.
I'm going to say that it was damn near a tie. This is a difficult decision to make. You're 100% correct about that. Because both of these shows put on fantastic matches. NXT put on more of them that I just went, wow. But the matches in the ones that were good for NXT, for AEW, that 4-way tag team match.
This man does not want to give NXT a win.
I gave NXT a win the week that we didn't get a chance to do a podcast.
They wouldn't know that.
Yeah, but I did give them a win.
But they wouldn't know that, though. Now they do.
I'm sorry, I say it's AEW. I think Bash at the Beach outshone NXT. Now, the thing that scares me is next week, I'm going to so badly want to pick AEW because of the cruise, because of just how cool that is to do a wrestling show on a cruise ship. But NXT's got a lot of really cool stuff happening next week.
No, in all seriousness, not picking on him as much because, I mean, he very clearly with the yeah.
I don't know what you're talking
and I'm
about.
even wearing an AEW shirt too. But but in all seriousness, I was actually at one point considering leaning more towards AEW only because of like how great Sammy Guevara by himself, but then I thought about how great Leo Rush was again on the other show. And again, that freaking women's match, just if you compare the two lowest points of both shows, it's bad.
I agree with you. If you compare the two lowest points of both shows, it's very clearly an NXT favorability. But if you compare the two highest points of both shows, I'm sorry, AEW's got you beat on that.
Yeah, but I'll give you that one. I do think the higher point of AEW is definitely like the match of the night for AEW was definitely better than the match of the night.
Either of our match of the night choices.
The triple threat in NXT.
That wasn't even the match of the night choice.
If I'm I was saying like one of our match of the night. But if you're thinking like as a whole, like for me, I think as a whole show, I just think I'm not going off of peak. I'm going off of just like. Overall show, I do think that it's like, because they're right here, man. I have to like maybe give NXT just that little bump. Because it's not the
fact that you're a WWE stan.
I'm not a WWE. We talk about this. I hate WWE. I like NXT, but it's the fact that one, again, if you rate show as a whole, that one women's match just knocks AEW down ever so slightly. And I feel like that might be the theme. Like, I mean, going forward, unless AEW is like the other matches in AEW continue to just be that much better than everything else on that show and NXT. But if you keep putting out subpar women's I can't, in my head, just as a reviewer, I just can't give you that nod, AEW, if you're gonna put out subpar matches like that. Because if you don't show me that you care, why should I? So,
well, the nice thing is that we've missed all of the weeks leading up to the Nightmare Collective. Because honest to God, I couldn't, in good faith, I could not give AEW a nod any of the last 6 weeks. I mean, it doesn't even matter how bad NXT could be. The whole Nightmare Collective thing is just so confusing and convoluted. And I get that you want to do things, but oh man, it's bad.
So it was this. It's funny because this night was definitely like the first night we did the NXT versus
They were
AEW,
very even.
close. I do think in the first episode how I was, a little bit more firm in my stance for NXT. This week I'm like, I could see if you just kind of X out the women's match, which how you can just forget a whole segment of the show. But
well, you could have forgot it if you slept through it.
Yeah. But it's.
Well, that's the same thing. I can see where you're coming from, which of course is no fun because
you almost want to just give it a tie, and that's hence why I bumped. And we don't do ties here.
No.
So yeah, it looks like.
But we do time limit draws.
And look, it does appear that we are.
No, we're not. It's not that close. It's not as close as it was last time that I absolutely rushed you off the microphone.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, so I mean, I could see where you would have taken NXT over AEW, and I admitted to the high points of that show. But of course, that's no fun because that's not what everybody wants. Everybody wants us to sit here and yell and bicker and call each other stupid idiot.
We're having too much fun here. Like, where's the hatred?
Yeah, unfortunately, we both like good wrestling.
Yeah.
We both dislike bad wrestling.
At the end of the day, we are wrestling fans. Like, I'm not a WWE fan. I'm not an AEW fan. I am a wrestling fan. And if I watch wrestling from freaking backyard and wherever, as long as you're giving me good quality stuff.
Honestly, I don't even care if it's good quality stuff. I'll just watch it. I'm like, oh God, I'm not making that comment. I'm like an addict. I'm like an addict. I don't even care if it's good. Just give it to me. Wrestling. Anyways.
Yeah, but calm down there.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon.
It is approaching bedtime.
It is 3:35 on the dot.
It was bedtime an hour and a half ago.
Bedtime hours ago.
So we are going to sign off. But, of course, don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
We've got new socials in the description down there.
Hit me up at WR Fight Mode Nick.
Of course, you can just find me at my standard social media at MAWHITE 313 on Twitter.
And, of course, hit that little ringy bell, get the notifications coming your way. And the most important thing, don't forget to join the revolution. From our studios in Sterling Heights, I'm Nick.
I'm Marcus.
Good night.
Good night.